Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist and Queen Lioness. And I'm here today in this video to talk more about Yoni eggs, or what I like to call them is PuaNani eggs, or mystical goddess eggs. The reason why I call them mystical goddess eggs is because really I believe that the Yoni egg practice has come from a lot of different cultures. And I have been researching this over the past 10 years. And I've compiled lots of evidence for this that will be in my book. However, and eggs are also their goddess symbols, okay? So they belong to the goddess. They're symbols of the goddess. They're ancient symbols that you see all throughout the world. So I don't believe that any one culture owns it or anything. So I call it mystical goddess eggs because of that. Also because they're very mystical. And when I tell you these eggs are mystical, they teach us many things, okay? And in this video, I'm going to talk about patience and trust, okay? So these are two very important lessons that the Yoni egg or PuaNani egg teaches us, okay? Now, how so? How does this happen? Well, anyone who's been working with eggs for a while, for some years, or even for a year, can tell you that sometimes they disappear, and you have no idea what happened to your egg. They disappeared. They may pop back up a couple years later, a couple months later, at the most random time. There are times when every woman is not sure, is an egg inside of me? And that sounds weird because you think, oh, you should know that. But no, there's at least once, probably more than one time, where every woman has a moment where they can't remember if it's in or not, and it's like this kind of mystical confusion. And the eggs do things that we're not aware of. Over the past 10 years of me teaching women, or I've been teaching women for 8 years, working with the egg for 10, when I teach women, and I like the in-person class because we share our experiences. Every time we do exercises, we share our experiences, and there's so much to learn from hearing other people's stories. Every woman has different experiences using PuaNani eggs. They are not, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's not like because that happened to her, that's going to happen to you. No, like everybody has different things. And over the past 8 years of me teaching, I've heard so many things from women that I've never heard before, never seen written before. I've had things happen to myself and things I've discovered that I haven't seen written anywhere. And so they're mystical. They're constantly teaching us. And the lessons of patience, okay? Let's talk about that. So, you know, in this society, I've been a trainer for the past 15 years, and I've noticed that in this society, people want everything quick, 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 now, now, now. You know, people don't have the patience, they don't want to put in the work for things. People speak a lot about the food that we eat, you know, and that, you know, that it comes from good sources. The vegetarian vegan community speak a lot about how they don't eat meat because the animals are treated cruelly. Which is a good point, but I also point out that plants are also treated just as cruel as the animals, if not worse. And I won't get into that in this video, but I do get into that in other videos. I'm a huge advocate of sustainable agriculture and supporting local farmers, and that's both animal and plant foods, okay? The commercial food industry is bad shit, no matter whether you're eating apples or beef, it's bad, okay? However, with the eggs, you know, that I sell and that we use, it's important to remember that they come from the earth. Stones and crystals. They're some of the most ancient things on the planet, just like trees, okay? Some of the most ancient things on the planet, and they are not infinite. And we have to tap into and dig into our deep womb of Mother Earth to acquire these crystals and stones. And the main person that I've been working with for the past 4 years has been a shaman in Mexico, who in Mexico they highly regard obsidian. And the Taoists in China speak a lot about obsidian. Jade and obsidian are the two that they speak about. And jade and obsidian are also highly regarded by the Mayans, by the Aztecs. And so the shaman in Mexico that I get my obsidian from, he has access to a wide variety of obsidian because Mexico is a hub of obsidian. And he's a very beautiful person. He travels throughout Central America and South America doing ceremonies. So because of this, the process of acquiring these eggs is slow. He's not a big factory. Also, there are times when he tells me, like he might tell me, oh yeah, I'll have green calcite or rose quartz next shipment, but then he tells me that the quality of the stone or crystal that he got was not up to par, so he can't use that. And therefore, my customers may have to wait a little bit longer. But a lot of people don't have the patience for that. They don't understand or try to understand the process and the fact that I've never wanted to rush him or stress him, because just like with the food, when people speak about the energy that goes into our food from the people who grow our food, if they're in a bad mood, if they're stressed, if they're upset, if they're being maltreated, that energy then affects our food, right? So the same thing is true with the stones and crystals that we get. And so, generally speaking, whenever women have been unhappy and they ran out of patience and they demand refunds, I always want to refund people because I don't want to force them. I'm very much about the energy and the vibe. So if they're upset and they're pissed off, I really don't want to force them to take the egg. I have a very spiritual approach to it. And I believe, too, that everything happens for a reason. So sometimes when somebody may have ordered a certain egg and it's taking 6 months to come and they run out of patience, maybe they should being patient, or maybe there's a different stone or crystal out there for them. They're very mystical in that way. But I have tried to refund people because I just didn't like that bad vibe and trying to force them. But in the past month, I have refunded like over $1,000 to people who were tired of waiting. And the shaman who I get my eggs from in Mexico, he lost his mom. They had a family emergency with his son. And so these things affect my ability to get eggs quick, okay? When he's traveling throughout, South America and Central America doing ceremonies, that slows down the process as well. And the whole thing has caused me to really think about my business and who I sell to, and really making it clear that, like, when people, like, for example, Amazonite, Amazonite and bloodstone have been widely requested since I've been selling eggs. And for the past couple of years, I haven't really gotten a chance I haven't had a lot of access to Amazonite and bloodstone. I do here and there, but not really. My source for that was in India. And they were carving the eggs either bigger than I asked or smaller than I asked. And so I would get them, somebody ordered a medium, but maybe that medium was larger or smaller. And people would be upset, they want refunds. Like, a lot of women are very specific and they want stuff fast and they want it the way they wanted it. And so if I'm in that situation, because I don't carve the eggs, where the carvers made them a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and people want refunds, it's just a constant setback. And I would complain to them, and there was a third person in between myself and the carvers in India, and because I would complain and gently complain that, oh, they did it a little bit too large, oh, they did it a little bit too small, for me doing that, they fired the carvers in India. So for the past couple of years, I haven't really had access to the moonstones, the bloodstones, the Amazonites that come from India, the rose quartz, the amethyst. But Mexico is where I was getting my obsidians and a lot of my jaspers, and he does have rose quartz and clear quartz and amethyst, but he wasn't getting the same type and the same qualities as I was getting from India. And then he had an issue with his drill, where the drill that he had wasn't the right drill to drill some of these crystals, because some of them were breaking as he was drilling them. So he lost lots of material by drilling and them not working, and he had to get a different drill. So there's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot that I lose, there's a lot that the carvers lose. And I just recently was able to reestablish my relationship with the carvers in India. So now I will have citrine coming, and carnelian eggs, and the moonstones, the bloodstones, and amazonites. However, there are women who've been waiting for them and wanting them for a long time. So I have 10 of each coming, and I recommend that if somebody really wants it, you should pre-order it. But I always tell people, don't pre-order if you don't have the patience. If you go into a crystal or stone store and you see that they have eggs, they may have one rose quartz, and maybe they have one obsidian and one lapis or something, and they have one size. And if you ask them, when will you have more? They will always tell you, I don't know, we don't know. if you ask them, for a specific size, you can't do that. You basically have to get what's there and respect that and appreciate that. And I find that, on my mission that I believe that all women should be working with eggs, I think that a lot of women overthink it, and they're a little bit too anal about it. The patience that is involved is that sometimes you get things quick, sometimes you don't. And that's true in life. That's true when we work on our bodies. That's true with our health, As a trainer, I notice that most people want to train with me and they think in 5 sessions they're going to reach all their goals instead of looking at it like 5 years or 3 years, And when I first started locking my hair, I hated when my hair was so short. But I was thinking about the future, like, oh, in a few years my hair is going to be long. And I was always looking to the future. I started pole dancing last year. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do every trick in the world and be this perfect pole dancer in 3 months. I said, let me see how I am in 3 years. So you have to put the work in over time. I have been working with Yoni Eggs for 10 years, and I'm still not, I still haven't reached my plateau. There's so much to learn, so much to do, so much to experience with them. And so with that being said, when I first started working with Yoni Eggs 10 years ago, the people I knew who sold them only sold drilled. And I would just experiment on my own with different stones and different crystal stores, so just the eggs in the stores are not drilled. So I started working with undrilled eggs on my own. I wasn't paranoid that I was going to get stuck or anything, but I knew that from my years of working with undrilled eggs that that's possible. So as I've started to sell eggs, I've seen that some women have a very specific request. Some women only want drilled or they don't want drilled. But the thing is that drilled eggs, probably if I had to say, may be the best because you can use them for more advanced exercises, and we all should advance at some point. But there are some women who are like, they prefer an undrilled egg, but if I only have a drilled one, they're so against that. I really don't understand why. Because yes, there's a little hole in it, but you can use it the same way you can use an undrilled egg. Drilled eggs do not cause infection like some women may think. I've never heard of that happening in the whole 10 years I've been working with them. And so the paranoia that a lot of women have, but they're just overthinking. And I just am like, put the egg inside of you. That's like my mission, is to get an egg inside of every woman. Just stop overthinking it and get one in there, okay? Now with the drilled eggs, I have 2 drilled eggs. I don't know how well you can see it in this video, but this is a serpentine jade and this is a black obsidian. They're both drilled. They're both drilled through the bottom. Eggs can also be drilled through the top to bottom. The thing about, the drilled eggs, yes, you can use them for more advanced exercises, and you can use them as an undrilled egg. You don't have to put a string in it. I don't recommend putting strings in for easy removal. I don't. But I have seen cases where I've had some female clients who are super paranoid about using the egg, or maybe they had it for I've had women that told me they had eggs for 7 years and never worked with it. And whenever I've heard stuff like that, I've always intuitively felt like there was some type of trauma that they were holding on to that they didn't want to let go of or they were afraid of. And I never said that to anyone, but one by one they all told me that on the side. So what I felt was true. And this is one of many reasons why I really believe in working with a Yoni egg to help dissolve trauma. It's not that it's the only tool, but it's a very important one that gets right in your deep center. And I will do another video about the PuaNani egg and trauma. And what I've seen and what I know about that topic. But, not being paranoid that the egg is going to get stuck inside of you. A lot of women are so afraid it's going to get stuck or it's going to go up into their cervix. It won't get stuck and it won't go up into your cervix, okay? So just trusting your body, trusting that the egg is doing things you're not aware of, and stop trying to be in control. The egg teaches us how to be more in control, but it also teaches us how to surrender and just chill out, relax, and be open to what is to come. Patience is extremely important. And a lot of women tell me that when they work with the eggs, they actually feel calmer about a lot of things. It helps to calm you. The trust issue is another issue. I feel very strongly that I don't want anyone to order an egg from me if they don't trust me, because I take what I do very seriously as a trainer, as a nutritionist, as a dancer, as a Yoni Egg, PuaNani egg coach. I take what I do very seriously. I never want to be responsible for someone getting hurt or poisoned because of me. So I put a lot of work into acquiring my eggs. I inspect them before I ship them out. I have been working with them for 10 years, all types. I don't sell anything that I haven't worked with myself. And, I've known women who, in the patient part of waiting, they think I'm trying to take money from them, or they don't trust something, or they get an egg and they feel like this is not really Amazon egg, this is not really rainbow obsidian, and then they're writing to me all upset, or they tell me, oh, you shipped me a small egg. Like, let me show you. These are what I call mediums. Medium, okay? About 1.5 inches. I've sent these eggs to some women and they've told me, oh, you sent me a small, and they're all upset. And I'm like, this is not a small. I consider a small egg to be like half of this. That's how I define it. I know some other people that ship medium eggs that are supposed to be medium, but they're like 2-3 times the size. That's what I would call a large. 2 of these is a large, okay? So an egg that's 2 inches in length would be a large to me, not a medium. So I've had women really sending me nasty emails, really like I'm trying to get over on them, and that really bothers me, because while I am a strong person, I am sensitive too, and I do take what I do very seriously. And 10 years ago, when I first started working with eggs, I didn't have anyone to talk to. There weren't all these videos on YouTube about it. Hardly anybody was saying much. The people that sold it said like 5 sentences about it. And from me working with it on my own, as a strength and conditioning specialist, I'm always looking for the most efficient exercises and ways to care for our body and increase performance in our health. So I found the Yoni eggs as a very important tool, and I felt like every woman needs to know about this. So I basically started shouting off of rooftops. And I know a whole lot of women that know about it today because of me. I'm not going to say that I'm the only one, no. But I do personally know like hundreds of women that know about it because of me, and other women who are teaching about it and selling eggs because they found out about it from me. And it just is like, sometimes I think, well, damn, that's the payback I get, is people thinking that, I'm trying to get over on them, and when I've sold thousands of eggs to women all around the world. So I really ask that, don't order an egg from me if you don't trust me. But trust and patience really are lessons that the egg teaches us. That we have to trust that this egg won't get stuck, that it's not going to go disappear into our uterus, that it's not going to give us infections, and those type of things, and being patient. Like, you might put the egg in and you want to get it out and you can't, be patient, it will come out. Over time, as you get more control and you're able to tune in, you will be able to take the eggs out at will. But a lot of times that's a learned thing that takes time. And so what was the other thing I wanted to say about patience and trust? Yeah, and also just another thing that I noticed when I first started teaching is there are a lot of women who had eggs that they got from other people, or they found out about it from the people back then that I knew that sold eggs, and a lot of them would use the egg a couple times and stop and never use it again. So this is another reason why I created my secret group on Facebook, because I felt like when women hear stories from other women, it will encourage them to keep going. Because the main thing I would tell people, same thing with fitness, is to keep going. Don't just do it 3 times and stop. Keep going over the years. It's over time that you see these changes. It's not something that's quick. Like, some people may work with an egg today and tomorrow they have these amazing revelations and changes, but it doesn't work like that for everybody. And even for the people who it does work for, it doesn't mean that's it. If you work with an egg today and next week all these amazing things happen, that doesn't mean you're done. You still have work to do. We always still have work to do. You don't see Olympic gold medalists say, oh, I want a gold medal, I don't have to go to practice anymore. As long as they still compete in that sport, they still have coaches, they still go to practice. And that's true for all professional athletes. So nobody ever gets so good that they're like, oh, I'm good for life. And so that's the thing that I've always wanted people to understand. In fitness, in working with eggs, I mean, me as a drummer, me as a dancer, these are things that I've dedicated my life to studying. I will never be done taking drum lessons, or done taking dance lessons, or done learning things about these eggs. And I learned things from working with them myself and also teaching other women. And so I really just say to women who want to begin their PuaNani egg journey to be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the universe. Trust in the universe. Trust in yourself. So I tell a lot of women, like, they'll ask me, oh, they'll tell me everything that's going on. They ask me what they should work with. And all I can do is tell you general tools. I a lot of times don't tell people, like when they ask me, what's the difference between black obsidian and silver sheen obsidian? I don't want to answer that. I feel like you should do that research because there's tons of research out there. There's tons of books on crystals and stones that go way more in depth than me. You can Google it, and working with them, you'll discover that. You know, there's a lot of different answers to that question, but for myself, when I started wearing different stones and working with different stone eggs, I would research each one and learn about it. Don't become dependent on other people to give you the answers to everything. So when I tell people I don't make decisions for them, and when they ask me about stones and crystals and I encourage them to do their own research, it's not because I'm trying to be a bitch, it's not because I'm impatient, it's because I want to encourage you on your own journey. Because I can tell you stuff, but when you look up things, you will find other things that I didn't say. So I really encourage people to, and you'll find things that resonate with you. It's a very mystical process. And I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but you'll only really understand it once you start working with the eggs over time. So just remember that, patience and trust when working with these eggs. Trusting yourself, trust the person that you get your eggs from, having patience with yourself, having patience in the whole egg process, remembering that these come from the earth, the womb of our mother, all of our Mother Earth, and that these stones and crystals hold information. They hold ancient information. So let's be respectful to them and to the whole process. Okay, there's a reason why this was something that was kept secret in ancient times. Not all women knew about this. This was something that was held for priestesses and queens. And I felt like I have to tell everybody, it shouldn't just be for priestesses and queens. There are times that I doubt that. There are times that I wonder if I made the right decision by doing that, because there's a lot of backlash and negativity that I've also experienced being on this journey myself. But as a healer, we attract sick people, and it's for the healer to know and to be able to discern who we are here to heal, who we can heal, and who we need to push over there. Okay, because we can't heal everybody. No healer is meant to heal everyone. Okay, and there's a lot of destructiveness that comes with that. And this path is not for everyone. I call myself a sensual warrior for that reason. It's because I don't like drama. I don't like arguing with people. I don't like people being unhappy with me or what I'm doing, especially when I'm trying to help them. But there's a lot of spiritual forces that fight against this when you're on this path. And especially as a woman who's outspoken and dealing with raw sexuality and comfortable in that and representing that, there's a lot of opposition. And there's a lot of opposition that people don't see. That when I'm like 50, I'll speak about some of the things that I've gone through in this lifetime, being on this path that I don't care to get into right now. But patience and trust. So even for myself, there are times that I didn't want to do this anymore, I didn't want to teach anymore, I didn't want to sell eggs anymore because of the negativity. But then I remember the positivity, and that outweighs the negativity. And as long as the positivity outweighs the negative, it gives me the strength to keep going because I know what I'm doing this for. You know, I'm clear about what my mission is and my purpose is on this planet. So I can just ask you all to be patient and trust. And I call them PuaNani eggs because PuaNani is an ancient indigenous Hawaiian word for sacred flower, blossoming flower, beautiful blossoming flower. And that is the image I like to have in mind and that I give my students when we do PuaNani egg exercises. Is really focusing on your vagina, on your vulva, on your vaginal canal as a beautiful blossoming flower. That's a great visual. And it's the main visual I use in my exercises when I teach women, the meditations. And I don't resonate with India so much. I don't resonate or feel a connection to India or Sanskrit. So, but I do feel a connection to Hawaii, one of the most sacred, beautiful places that I've been. The indigenous people there remind me of my native ancestors, my red ancestors. And so I feel more connected to that language. So, and then Pua, such a beautiful name. Sounds like pussy. Like, I used to hate that word. But it's actually a very beautiful word. And getting us to pucker our lips when we say PuaNani is just something that resonates better with me. So I will start calling it that. I'll say Yoni Egg sometimes because that's what people recognize as I make my transition into PuaNani eggs. Okay? So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you all understand the Yoni Egg lessons of patience and trust, okay? So have a great day, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it. Please join my YouTube page as well. Thanks, people. Bye.